How we doing, diggers? Hope you're all well. Welcome to the Vinyl Shakedown Mobile. We're going on a journey today. We're off to view a collection, big old collection. Chap came into the shop, really lovely guy, chatting about music, and he was looking at the walls and he was like, oh, I've got that one, got that one, got that one, got a few copies of that one. I was like, okay, it sounds good. And yeah, he's looking at selling the whole collection. Mentioned a few artists. We're talking Stones, Beatles, 60s and 70s rockers, you know, pretty standard fare, but in brilliant condition with loads of first presses. Brilliant. That's great, isn't it? But yeah, we don't know those bits yet, so that's why we said we'll come to the house and have a look. Over 1,000 records, so it's not a case of bringing them in. And so yeah, organised to go over, and he phoned me and said, actually, I'm doing a list. I said, oh, there's no reason really. I'll see it when I get there, but by all means, if you want to, do a list. So he did a list. He sent it over to me. And then I saw the side, kind of scale of what we were talking about. I'll just fling up here a flick through of just the Stones alone. And then we move on to just there, Bob Dylan. And on this list alone, I'm just like, whoa. What I spot on the list is something that he didn't mention at all. We chatted for a good 20 minutes. Jazz. And not just any old jazz. Proper good jazz. Again, I'll show you the list here. Miles Davis. All the Miles Davis you could possibly need and more. And everything is in there. All the classic jazz albums and some obscurities too. And he's gone to the effort to put, whether they were on Prestige or Blue Note or Columbia, and if they were US pressings. And I'm thinking, Jesus, if these are the original pressings of these, they're insanely rare, and, well, it's going to cost me a pretty penny. But we don't know any of this till we get there. So that's where we're going today. We're going to go there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we should all be good. So yeah, really lovely, lovely, lovely pickup. So nice when you get to a collection and you just get to chat with the owner about their music history and the bands they've seen or the music that they've listened, their favourite album of the collection, and it's just so lovely. Anyway, I digress. Let's get stuck in and have a look through all of these beautiful records. I'm very excited about this. And it's going to cause a lot of work. And I just cleared out thousands of records in the sale, but that's exactly what this is for. Clearing out a massive load to put more in. Anyway, let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a look. I'm excited. We're back at the shop. I'm just about to start unloading, but I'll show you what we've got in store. The main lot here is a hell of a lot of well looked after, lovely records. And I'm really excited about this lot because although there's loads and loads of classic rock, proper classics in there, and sort of like a who's who of the 60s and 70s, there's also lots of little oddities in there. And when the guy sent me the list, I didn't mention was all the seriously cool jazz that was knocking around. And I'm absolutely over the moon about that, because it's not weird, obscure, crazy jazz, to be honest. It's all your absolute standards. I think there's 3 or 4 copies of Miles Davis Kind of Blue, just for instance. So yeah, amazing. We'll start unpacking this and we'll go through it together, shall we? So what we're doing is moving them from the van, put them into the plastic boxes and into the shop. Reason why I don't plastic box them up when we get the collection is because otherwise it's just hassle the other end. I might not buy the collection, so I've got loads of plastic boxes, and you can actually fit a lot less in if they're all plastic boxed up. I suppose you could go upwards, couldn't you? But yeah, I find it easy enough to do it like this. Works a treat for us. This is the great thing. You just unearthing lovely, lovely bits. We're into George Harrison territory there. And I'm not saying everything is absolutely incredible. You know, there is some classical stuff, there's some easy listening, and there's a bit of folk. But I would say 95% of it is killer. And some stuff, like I say, common as anything, but in really lovely condition, original condition, that would be perfect. Fly out the shop. Last Waltz, one of my favourites. There's about 4 copies of Abbey Road in there. These, I think all the way up to about there is Beatles. And the fact that the jazz stuff, oh, hello. The fact the jazz stuff, he didn't even mention. So I only found that out about on the list, and that makes up, I don't know, 45, 50% of the collection. It's going to be a fun, cool time of listening in the shop over the next few days. So Miles Davis goes on forever, for miles and miles. Oh yeah, hello. There we go, you see.
One behind it.
Yeah, double bitches brew. Now we were recommended this album by a chap in the shop the other day, weren't we, Guy? Mm-hmm. Which is a French soundtrack to a film. And he said it was one of his favourite Miles Davis albums, and that's a new one on me, so that will go straight into the play pile. So we're getting to the back of the van now. But there is just an insane amount of good stuff here. And like I say, plenty of common stuff and plenty of stuff that, you know, we see all day long. But that's great for the shop, absolutely great for the shop. Now the Bob Dylan is probably the biggest part of this collection. I'd say well over 100 Bob Dylan bootlegs, albums, oddities, live stuff, many multiple copies of early studio albums, bits with posters on, US pressings, UK pressings, Italian pressings, Japanese pressings. It's pretty never ending on the Dylan front, so I hope you all like Bob Dylan. How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to the evening now, because I had to go and do a few life admin stuff. Pick the kids up from school, it's quite an important one. They would have been a bit annoyed if I continued to wallow in my records while they waited at the school gates, and take them roller skating. I did not go roller skating because I didn't want to break my arm, because that would impede on me looking through all these amazing, lovely records we've just bought. So yeah, I love this part now. We've done all the hard work. We've given the valuation, and actually when you're doing the valuation, the records aren't yours yet. So you're looking at them in a different light. You're doing that person a service. You are just telling them what you think that they are worth and what you're willing to pay for them. So they don't belong to you yet. So there's a weird sort of disconnection there. And then once you've done the deal, if hopefully you do the deal, then you've got the headache, in this case, with a huge collection, of transporting the records, so you're not thinking about them. And then you load them out on the other side and you're going, oh my goodness, yeah, I forgot, yeah, that's in the collection, yeah, wicked. And then now, it's calm, it's quiet, and we can just do it at our own pace. Now, in the past, I have had collections in where I've just dumped them in the shop, we've opened the next day, and there's loads of unpriced records everywhere. And it is a total nightmare. I know it must be brilliant for customers because they're getting first look through. But for us, having to price things on the go, and most importantly, I see people rifling through stuff that I wanted to keep. So now, not that I'm going to keep all of this, don't worry. But now we make sure it gets put away so we can process it in our own time. It was in alphabetical order, but obviously in the moving, in the getting it out of the house, putting it in the van and then bring it back in, it's got mixed up a little bit. But what we want to do now is put it in genre order before it then goes in alphabetical order, before it goes in the racks. So yeah, enough of me waffling. I know you want to see some records. So far I've not done very much. I've just wandered around, played some records and had a nice time, to be honest. But now we're going to get into the crux of it. So I'm starting to put it in sort of genres. I'm starting to bring the artist back together. So I know that every single Led Zeppelin album is in the collection, but I've not tracked them all down yet. I've got to 3, and then I know that Physical Graffiti's in there somewhere, and I'm sure Led Zepp 1 is in this pile somewhere as well. There it is, behind the organs. So yeah, that's what we're going to kind of get to now, is is putting them in orders, and that's more classic rocky stuff. This is all Pink Floyd. There is more Pink Floyd out the back. I've not found a few bits and bobs yet. Now, I Wish You Were Here, we've got one copy, which I think is 2 year after release repress. Then we've got a modern press repress in the pink sleeve. Might be some sort of anniversary edition. And then we have got the original as well in its black bag. And I asked him, did you know if there's a postcard in there? And I don't know if you can see that, but the outline of the postcard is there. It's tucked behind the black bag. So I'm not going to take that out, but it does come with a postcard. Pink Floyd The Wall. Don't know if it's got a sticker on. No, it's not. 12-inch single. And then it's got some of these. These are mainly represses. That's obviously a first press. Now, that's a cool one. I believe that's a US press. 1978. Yeah, 1978 US pressing. And I have got a Dark Side of the Moon, a real one out the back with its posters and stickers as well. Oh, okay, let's have a look in here. I've not really looked through these yet. I can't remember, but I think it said that it came with a poster. I hope so. Hello, hello, hello. Now, I can't really open that poster out, but I'll give you a little glimpse. There's some bicycles. And if you know the song, you know that those ladies riding the bicycles don't have any clothes on. So yeah, I can't show you the poster, but it's nice to have in. Usually it's attached there, but it's not on that one. So these are hopefully sticking together. We've got some Lou Reed as well. And I know that Transformers there. Oh, full discography of Jethro Tull, if anyone's interested. I mean, this is it. I would say prog rock, it's really hard to sell. Especially anything that is sold 1 million copies back in the day. There is some cool collectible prog rock over here, more sort of jazz fusion-y bits actually. I wouldn't really call it prog. Ian Carr's Nucleus. Some nice ones on the Vertigo label as well. So that's quite nice, but that's more jazzy fusion, isn't it, really? Oh, Nina Simone as well. That's an original, so that's quite sexy. The Beatles and the Stones. The Stones collection in this is, oh my God, absolutely massive. So again, we've usually got an original pressing, a repress, which is still sealed for some reason, and then usually a US press as well. So that's how he collected. He would collect a variant and a new one as well. I know, oh yeah, there we go. So we've got 3 Beatles blue, but most importantly is the one on blue vinyl, which is probably the more valuable of the lot. Usually go for about 30 quid in nice condition. And to be honest, Beatles blue, I don't know, it commands a tiny bit more than red. Beatles blue, 12 quid usually, I'd say. And then, yeah, this is nice again. I think this is 78, like the Dark Side of the Moon. Another US press of the Sgt. Pepper's. Definitely a later press. Those fonts aren't too cool, are they? And I don't really like the ring around it. But a nice curiosity there to add to it. So where did I go there? I'm starting a soul pile there to make it easier for myself. And then the biggest surprise of it all, the jazz. I was so delighted when he sent that list through, because I am on such a jazz hit at the moment. I'm really enjoying jazz. And I was so delighted when he sent his list through, and it featured loads and loads of cool jazz. And it's a mixture of early pressings. I don't think there's many actual first pressings. So lots of them are sort of from mid-60s onwards, but still nice early pressings, and they're nice. They're nice. Like I say, a couple of copies of Love Supreme. I think one's a US press and one's a UK. Loving Giant Steps at the moment as well. So there's a couple of copies of that in there. Oh, it's just so nice to see. Now the Miles Davis is similar to the Stones in how much he's got. There's a whole 2 boxes full. So I've only pulled out a small amount at the moment. Sonny Rollins. 2 copies of that. Blooming masterpiece. Naughty Doggy. A doggy had a chew on some of them. But, you know, then there's a lovely press of it too. And that one is a later press. Definitely an 80s press. Got the barcode on it. But do you know what? That's probably easier for me to sell because someone will pick that one up for 12, 14 quid rather than wanting to shell out 50 quid for an early press. So actually these all fly quite quickly. Really nice though. I'm going to have so much fun listening to this. It's just going through now and finding the pressing. So that is definitely a later press because it's barcoded and it's, you know, 75 years or whatever it is. I don't know. 75 years seems a bit too much, doesn't it? Does it? I don't know. Ooh. So yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon with this because, like I say, I'm really into my jazz at the moment. And people often ask, I've had a few people come in recently, and I am by no means an aficionado of jazz whatsoever. I just listen and enjoy what I like and then don't like some stuff. And I think you've got to be a bit choosy with jazz. You've just got to make up your mind on stuff. But it is great to push yourself and explore, you know, your own mind in, oh, that's a bit challenging, but that's what jazz is about. I love that it challenges you. So you get the motif that comes in, the nice bit at the start, doom, 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 and then you get the, you know, everyone comes in and plays, do, 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 and then everyone goes off and does their own little odyssey. That's the challenging bit sometimes. But then they bring it back for the main motif. Oh, it's so beautiful. Anyway, like I say, I'm in no way an aficionado, but I would say that right now, this is a lovely, accessible, my favourite jazz album to listen to. It's so beautiful, so smooth, really, really cool. And the opening track, Song for My Father, is exactly the same as Steely Dan, Ricky Don't Lose That Number. So yeah, luckily, I've got 2 copies of that in this. One, that might well be a first press actually, and a later press. And then I had that on earlier, and that the first track was quite challenging, difficult, but really high energy, and then it went all beautiful. So like I say, it's completely up to you. I know that jazz isn't for everyone, but I am really enjoying going on my own little jazz odyssey. So for the rest of the evening, so this is the collection, 2 boxes there. These here, let's come out there. But there's some great stuff as well. There's a few box sets as well. So get your IRs out. Rolling Stones. Yeah. Charlie's good tonight, isn't he? From that, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm quite tired because I'm just chatting absolute rubbish. So yeah, this is the full collection really. All of these boxes here. And then there's a few bits out there as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be pulling stuff and going through. Now I know that luckily this box here is all Rolling Stones. So there's a big mix. Let's just do a little cross section of it. It's a big mix of originally stuff. 50th anniversary. So there is definitely, I know, a couple of first presses. There's many copies of this, Let It Bleed. And what did we say? I didn't see one. That's got the poster in it, which is really nice. But it has got the edited sleeve, not the Bach Choir one. So it's a tiny bit later pressing. But yeah, nice. I like that. Let's squeeze that back in there. A mix of stereo and mono. Beggar's Banquet there. Stones 1. There's obviously a few copies of that. Another Beggar's Banquet. Yeah, we've got, it's just never ending. did have a nice sticky fingers in here as well. And we've got an Exile on Main Street, probably one of my favourites. Metamorphosis. There are 4 Satanic Majesties requests, and I think 3 of them are original with the inners and US pressings of stuff. And it's great if you love the Rolling Stones. That's a US press, I'm pretty certain. So yeah, it's going to be a long evening. I'm going to do a bit of sorting now, and then I'll check you back in for another bit of the video, all right? So one of the things that we've not spoken about at all yet while I've been rambling on looking through these records is condition. Condition is so important in any collection that we buy. It's the most critical thing, really. Obviously, you want good music. That's important, because yeah, you could have a load of terrible records in amazing condition that will never sell. But yeah, it's so important, condition. And you know, let's take this one for example. Every single one of these records is in a plastic sleeve. And it's not those big, thick, old 70s plastic sleeves that cause damage to the records. They cause a thing called foxing. And what happens is, because of the plastic that it's made from, they kind of, as they heat up or cool down, are at the mercy of the elements in your house. They cause like a little bit of a chemical reaction that causes the plastic to, I don't know, sort of sweat. And it can damage the sleeve and it can damage the record. You can see all these wavy lines on the records. So if you do find records in really thick, heavy plastic sleeves, get rid. Anyway, these are in decent ones that don't cause any damage. And I don't know if you can see that, but it just kind of means, because they've been kept in these since they were born, you probably can't see that. The sleeves are really immaculate and the spines are really crisp, which is lovely. But, you know, these have been loved and these have been played. There's a price sticker mark on it. The flip back's nice and clean on this one, but it's been around, it's been played, and that's what records are supposed to be, in my opinion. But on the whole, I mean, I've not checked every single one, so should we check one together? Always pops up, one of my favourites, David Bowie Low. So already a very early pressing, we can tell, because it's got the sticker on here of the track listing. Again, you probably can't make that out, but the sleeve is nice and crisp around the edges. We've got, hello, he's blooming in there, isn't he? Well, that is a nice find. I'm well chuffed about that. I didn't expect that. The Fan Club insert for Low. Now, I don't have one of these in my copy, so that might come home with me. I'm well chuffed to find that. I love little things like that. And it's just a David Bowie. There is one in a few other of the David Bowies. Aladdin Sane is a nice one. It says Love David on it. Looks like a signature. Anyway, we were checking the condition. Sorry, I got carried away because we've got that fan insert, which I'm well chuffed about. Anyway, let's have a little look. I mean, this one we have locked out. It's in absolutely beautiful condition. No real spindle marks. Beautiful. Beautiful. So maybe he wasn't a massive Bowie fan, or he found this album a bit challenging, who knows. But that one is a solid, excellent condition. So really chuffed about that for a start. Should we do one more flick through a random box that I've just pulled a lid off, and then maybe we'll have to do a part 2 or something like that. Anyway, let's have a little whiz round and see if I can get into this box and have a look through. So we just checked the condition of that. I'm so chuffed that it's got the fan insert. I did already check that one, and it doesn't have the fan insert in. So nice Bowie collection. Oh yeah, here's a bit more Bowie. And then we've got more jazzy bits. I'll pull in a minute. I'm just going to do a flick through for you on this one, so you can see. Oh yeah, there's some nice Japanese pressings on this stuff. I mean, it is a phenomenal collection when you really dig in deep. And when you're reading through a list and it's like, and it says, oh, Japanese pressing, you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. But when you see it in real life, it's so much cool. Here's the rest of the Bowie. Knocking about, let's check that one, yeah. That's first, well, it may be a first press, not got main man credit on the back. Hunky Dory, I know that that's a little bit of a later press. Still an orange label, but it's not the laminated sleeve or anything like that. I know there's some rarities in that. And then back to the Stones. So there was a few copies of Satanic, and I know there's a couple more, but that's a repress. Is that an early one? That's an early one with a lenticular sleeve. Don't know if that picks up on the camera. You do. Anyway, onto back into blooming Bob Dylan. I've already filled a box of Bob. Oh, right, okay. And then we are literally all over the shop. The Miles Davis lot is unreal. There's so much Miles Davis, which is a joy for me right now because I'm loving that. Oh, and then we hit on something that's for the pound bin. Sorry, Tony. And a few classical, which we do not do well with. That, I was like, for ages, like, what is that? That looks blinking rare. That looks like some crazy psyche prog that I'd never heard of. I was like, whoa, that's going to be mad rare. It's not. It's just a blooming Bob Dylan bootleg. Oh, man. One of my favourites of all time. Massive influence on me, and me being in my first band and being completely obsessed by this record and some Dr. John records as well. That is sublime. That was the only beef art in there. There's loads of Zappa, but that was the only beef art in there. And then, yeah, some like common stuff. I like those Blobwing Pigs. That's good. Blind Faith, I won't pull that out. Art Blakey, again, we're back to him. Loads of Art Blakey, and more Japanese pressings. And we're back into Dylan again. I wonder if we'll hit Dylan to the end of this box now, or if there'd be more surprises. Oh, hello, I told you about these, boys. There we go. Shelly Man. Now, this was recommended by the guy who bought the collection. He said, go and have a listen to that. It's phenomenal. So that's what I'm going to stick on in a minute. What's a Shelly Man? So thank you for joining me on that little adventure day. Very glad that we secured the deal on that. Really happy. Great collection and a great fun lot to go through. And it is seemingly endless at the moment, but once we've got a handle on it, this will start going out. It's probably, I mean, if you think, I've yet to even, I did a video a couple of weeks back with the Joy Division collection, which had like the Durutti column, sandpaper sleeve. I've not even got that out yet, Public Image. And all of that box, the Throbbing Gristle stuff and that's still waiting out the back to go out. So it is tricky. It's tricky working through this much stock. And don't get me wrong, it is a phenomenal problem to have. It's not really a problem. It's bloody brilliant. I love it. But I do feel for people that come in and go, oh, have you sorted that yet? Or is this out yet? It is tricky. We will get there. But it just takes a bit of time. I'm going to be here till way past midnight, I'd imagine, tonight. So I'm going to get on, I'm going to crack on and hopefully get the first batch of this lot out for tomorrow. But thank you again massively for if you've made it through this long in the video and you're still listening to me. And yeah, thanks for supporting us and thanks for subscribing to us and following our journey. I mean, I think next week, hopefully we'll have a really boring video for you because nothing's going to happen, which is what I want. I want to be able to sit behind that counter, drink coffee and read Mojo magazine. That's what I want to do. But that never happens. But yeah, it's phenomenal. It's all good. Thank you again for all your support. And either see you in the next video or see you in real life in the shop. Cheers, guys. Bye.